One little last nugget before the trade deadline dealing with the Lakers. My man John Hollinger, very deep into the weeds in terms of cap situations, luxury tax situations, how teams run their books, the finance guy. These are assets. These assets get moved around, so you pay less money as a result of what is happening when you're over the salary cap. This is what he said. If the Lakers are going to do anything in the buyout market at all, pause, which is basically where they're at right now because they made no moves, like I said, at the trade deadline, as they claim that they will, their inactivity on minor salary dumps was, quote, borderline organizational malpractice. Cream, get the money. Dollar bills, y'all. No. Sheesh. What does this mean? Let's break it down, because this is not something that's really being talked about a ton. This is a very niche basketball situation. But sometimes there are little breadcrumbs that if you pay attention and you put them into a larger context, they give you an idea of where the direction of the franchise is heading, which is what I fucking love to do. So let's do it, because I don't get a chance to do it that often. The Lakers had the ability to send some of their players who were doing absolutely nothing away from the team. Trade them away. That are just taking up space on the bench. They're on league minimums. You can send them to other teams for cash. It's basically take DeAndre Jordan, Kent Bazemore, for example. So for the Lakers, for example, would have moved DeAndre Jordan, who's had 20 DMPs in the last 24 games, so he's doing nothing. Kent Bazemore, who's had 25 DMPs in the last 39 games, and cash. The Lakers would have saved $8 million in luxury tax payments. That's a shitload of money. And created two small but valuable trade player exceptions. The going rate for this kind of transaction is around $1 million. And there were many willing partners that were willing to do this deal. So the question that I have is why the Lakers didn't do this deal. No one seems to have an answer. John Hollinger says in his article, he thinks that the Lakers are basically, quote unquote, asleep at the wheel. That's not good. That's troubling because Pelinka hasn't had any answers this entire year. His big splashy move for Russell Westbrook, which we've talked about a gazillion times, basically crippled this franchise. And most of the smaller moves, besides Malik Monk, have been somewhere between mediocre and disastrous. And this particular inaction seems very ironic and very odd because the Lakers just threw away $8 million in luxury tax payments or savings when they could have, when they said this past season that the reason that they let Alex Caruso go and they let him walk was because they couldn't afford to pay him the money that would have put them over the luxury tax $8 million. The exact same amount of dollars that they did not want to pay was the reason that they kept Alex Caruso away from the team and they let him go elsewhere. Wild turn of events. Let's face it. The Lakers could use some Alex Caruso right now. That would fix a lot of their problems. A disaster. But there's more to this story that you can add to the context that makes me even more concerned. This is what The Athletic said about the Lakers' woes recently. When the Lakers were struggling in early December, this was supposed to be like an uplifting story, but it really is not. When the Lakers were struggling in early December, injuries derailing what was supposed to have the potential to be a championship season behind James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. Pause. This article is trying to purport that injuries are the reason that they're not a contender. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, Jeannie Buss, owner of the Lakers, consulted Magic Johnson about the direction of the franchise. Remember, the date of this, mid-December, right? I sat down with Magic, Buss told The Athletic, and I said, should I be concerned? What are you seeing? And he just talked about, the injuries and that the team hadn't had a chance to be together. I mean, this is such a lie. He's very calm and insightful, and I appreciate seeing the big picture instead of him reacting to every game. I mean, this is propaganda. 3 weeks after this supposed meeting, right? Mid-January, Magic Johnson tweeted this after they got mollywopped by the Nuggets. They lost by almost 40. We as at Lakers fans, he's tagging these people in the Twitter. We as at Lakers fans can accept being outplayed, but we deserve more than a lack of effort and no sense of urgency. Owner at Genie Bus, you deserve better. Does she though? Does she? And then he says this, I sent that tweet out for a reason. It's a different standard when you put on the purple and gold, so those guys need to understand that, not taking a shot at anybody, but that's unacceptable as a Laker to not give maximum effort. It's something that would have been unthinkable when I was playing. The main thing is always about winning. I don't care about anything else. Okay, so after that meeting that she had with Magic Johnson when he basically, don't worry, it's just injuries. Think big picture. They haven't had time to gel. And then 3 weeks later, he basically says, you dog shit players won't even get up and play against the Jokic-led team. He has nobody else helping him. You guys got destroyed by 40 at Lakers, at Genie Bus. After that tweet, you have 3 weeks before the trade deadline. 3 weeks. And Genie Bus felt comfortable with the direction of the franchise. After she had that meeting, after she saw that tweet, she didn't come to Rob Pelinka and say, yo, we got to figure some shit out. We got to make a move here. This team is trash. This team doesn't even try. I don't care what you need to do. Get John Wall. If you can't get John Wall, then we need to save some of my hard-earned, not really hard-earned, but taxpayer money that I'm paying out in luxury tax. At least save me some money. These guys are sitting on the end of the bench just doing whatever the fuck they want, getting DNP after DNP. Get rid of them. Save me some money at least. No pressure put on the GM to make any changes at the deadline. And if she did pressure him and he didn't make changes, that's even worse. Are you kidding me? Dr. Bus must be rolling in his grave. Something is seriously wrong with the Lakers, and I suspect Genie Bus is a bigger issue than I might have ever anticipated.